Can you see my screen? Thank you, Shravani, for the response. Let's have a quick recap of the topics that we have discussed. Mm, we have discussed about the definition of a website and what web development is all about. And we also discussed about the steps that are involved in web development. Like we have 7 major steps for constructing a good website, and 7 of them are most commonly used not only in developing a website, but they are also used in even in other projects also. And later we have discussed about the reasons for having a good website. These are the 4 major reasons to have a good design for our website. And later we have discussed about 3 kinds of developers. Those are involved in field of web development. And then we get to know about the web technologies like front end, back end, and few frameworks. Later on, we have discussed the contributions and the benefits you will get from the GDSC club, and then we have started our main topic, that is HTML. We have discussed the definition of HTML and a little description of CSS and JavaScript as well. And as the definition says, that hypertext links the web pages, and we learned about that. And even we identified that HTML is case insensitive language. And then we have learned about few elements, tags, and attributes as well. And this we have learned about the case insensitive in HTML. And then the history of HTML. We learned about the different types of HTMLs, like empty HTML elements and nested elements. Nested HTML elements are also called content type elements. And the elements which have only the opening tag are termed as empty elements, like the BR, break tag, image tag, input tag, link tag. All this comes under empty HTML elements. And then we learned about nesting HTML elements, which is nothing but we have an element inside another element. And we discussed about it in detail by using the example there. And we must follow the inverse order how they are defined. This is the one thing that you should remember while using an nesting HTML elements. And this is what we have learned about HTML elements. Then we came to understand what the physical appearance of element looks like. That means, like, in an element we contain an opening tag, closing tag, and the content in between the opening and closing tags. And even we have attribute in our opening tag. This is all we have discussed earlier. Now we even identified the differences between the tags, elements, and attributes as well. And this is the thing that we have already discussed earlier. Later on, we discussed about the skeleton of HTML, and we even executed it, and you even observed the output. Then we learned about content, comments, and paragraph tag. And then we even identified different levels of heading tags. Like we have almost 6 heading tags, out of which 4 are most commonly used. And formatting text with HTML. We learned about I tag, B tag, and strong tag, subscript, superscript. All these tags are used for formatting text in HTML. We learned about this. So let's move on. So I want the answer for this. Do anyone of you know the difference between B and strong and I and M tags? If you know the difference, please post that in the chat box. And then After that, we discussed about image tag and the various ways of inserting the source of image. Like we can directly put the downloaded image using the source attribute, or we can give the reference link of the image. We have discussed the different ways of having a source in a image tag. Later on, we discussed about the anchor tag, which is mostly used for defining a hyperlink, and we discussed about the syntax of anchor tag as well. So we learned about this the few appearances of the links in different browsers. Like all the browsers have these these three kinds of links, like unlisted link represented in blue, listed link in purple, and active link in red. And we have discussed and we have seen the difference also. So after that, we discussed about some abbreviation tags and address tag to represent contact, BDO tag for representing the content in a reverse order, and we even discussed about five icons, which most of you are not familiar with. So we learned about how can we make our own five icons also. So I have shared you a link where you can make your five icons. So then we have implemented this code as well, and we have checked this line. Like we have implemented this, and we observed the output as well. Then we discussed about block and inline elements like div tag and span tag. So yesterday we have discussed about table tags, and so as we discussed it uh, in yesterday's session, I'm not going to recall it. So let me start with today's session. So I think you people don't have any doubts in all of these topics. If any one of you have any kind of doubts, can unmute and speak. If your mics are unable, you can post it in the chat box. Let me check the chat box. So. Deepthi, what kind of noise you are hearing? Any bike sounds, anything? Do you hear those sounds now?
It's not coming now.
Yeah. A bike passed by my home, so it's the noise that came earlier. So I think you people did not have any doubts in from the sessions that are taught. So let me start with our today's session. So today's topic is all about lists, and I even said you people that we have three kinds of lists, that is unordered list, ordered list, and description list. As most of you people might know about ordered unordered list, but may not know about the description list. So let's discuss about those. So as the name suggests, unordered list is nothing but they are not given any order, like they are not given any numbering. um, and ordered lists are numbered in a specific order, and description list is nothing but it adds some description to the list of terms you included. So let's understand about those now. And generally we have uh, li tag and ol tag that are used for order list, and inside the ol tag and UL tags, you will use the LI tag, which represents the list. It's the one thing that is used in common for both ordered and unordered lists. So DL is used to represent the description list, and DT is used to represent the content. content in the description list. Like we even have dd element which specifies the term's definition. Like and we can even add some stylings to our unordered list, and we can even start the numbering of our a list in order list. Like we can we it's not compulsory that we should start our numbering from one itself. We can start our numbering from 100 also, and we have some attributes to do that kind of things. And even for unordered lists, by default a bullet points will appear, like only a dot type of bullet points appears, but you can make them like a square type, disk type, or empty circle type. Let's understand this by executing few programs. So let me open notepad and type the code over here. Let me begin with ordered list. I'm typing some content in between my OL tag, and it's not necessary that you must use HTML tags, but it's a good practice if you use, and it's there is no problem if you avoid it also. But it's compulsory to save it with .html extension. As it is ordered list, we can see numbering given to those three elements of the list. That see wait Since it is OL tag, that is order list tag, you will be able to see 1 2 3 numbering, and you can change the numbering by using start attribute. That is, if you give start equals to 100, it will begin from 100. So did you observe the difference, and did you understand how OL tag works? If you are clear, I'll move on to UL tag, that is unordered list tag. So for unordered list, we just use UL tag. Let me use the same code, and let me refresh this page. Can you see that you are displayed with some dots before your words? And if you want to specify, like if you want to give some type of circle or a disk, you can specify like type equals to disk. Oh, it did not work. Let me check the syntax of it. Mm, mm, mm. Yes. List the style type. Let me copy this and check whether this works or not. It did not work. So, what might you think the fault? Hmm, maybe it will not work for inline CSS. So, let me try outside this using some style tag. Hmm. Even now, it did not work. Maybe disk is not there. Hmm. Can you see the difference? It's done. The circled bullets are turned into square bullets. So maybe this type of style is not supported by this Bing browser, so it did not appear for us. So let's try it inline and check whether it works for inline or not. I'd like to comment this part. No, it did not work for inline CSS. So we may not use it in inline. So it's not appearing for inline. So if you want to change the styling of your unordered list, you might use this style tag. So let's see whether circle works or not. Yes, even circle worked for it. So some browsers will not support few elements and few tags, and based on the browser you should select your attribute and the type of the attribute. So I think QL and OL tags are clear for you people. Now let me discuss the description list. So let me open another notepad. So we have DL tag and D DT tag. Let's write some content here, like, and let me write some description to the content. Let's save this and check the output. Can you see the difference that your title appears as side and the content appeared below it? If you like to align your content in this type of manner, you can use DT tag, DD tag, DL tag, and DT tags. So this is how a description list works. Hope this is clear. I think ordered list, unordered list, and description list are clear to everyone. If you are clear, then try this. Try these things and post the code in the chat box. Let me execute that. I'll give you 10 minutes. Try these codes and please post those in the chat box. Try these things. Try this four and post those code in the chat box. Once you are done, let me know. If you are done, please turn on your mic and tell that you are done. Instead of this dotted bullets, try using some other type of bullet types and check whether they works or not. Did anyone finish this first one? Are you people doing or not? If you are not doing, let me know. I'll move on to the next topic. Please don't waste the time.
We are doing wait.
Okay. Have you finished? Okay, you people try that later. I'll continue with the next topic. And the next topic is iframe. Do any one of you know what an iframe is? Did you heard about it? iframe is nothing but you can see an inner HTML website, like HTML page inside an HTML page. This is in a simple way. That means iframe is nothing but a browser contains another browser inside it. So this is the syntax for iframe, and src is nothing but the source that we give to an iframe. Like we'll give some url to the iframe, and the web page will contain another web page inside of it. Let's try this and understand how iframe works. And these are the few things we can work on iframes. Like using src attribute will include the source file, and we can even add some styling to your iframes. Like you can maximize your width or reduce your width, or you can increase the height of the iframe, and all this can be done. And by default, iframe will have some border. Even you can remove that border by using the basic css. Like you can remove the border by using border equals to none, or you can even add the border of your wish. Like you can add a new styling to your iframe. And these are the few things that can be done on iframes. Next, using iframes, you can even do this. Like as we discussed about anchor tags, that we have an attribute in anchor tag like target. And if we provide name to our iframe, and if we mention the target in our anchor frame anchor tag, then the anchor tag will display the iframe content. And we'll execute this, and let's understand those in detail. Don't worry about that. I think the topic iframe is clear to you. We have discussed about the attributes like src and name with reference to iframe. These are the most commonly used attributes for iframe tag. And the next tag is video tag. Most of you might observe that few websites contains videos in their web page. That can be done using video tag. And inside the video tag there is another tag called source. That source tag is used to embed the video link, like what type of video you'd like to include in the web page. And these are the two tags that are used to display video in your web page. And This is a small example of the video tag. Like this width indicates the width of your video, and the height and controls are nothing but you might observe some pause button and play buttons on videos. So those can be done by using control attribute. And as I said that source is another tag by which you can include your video, and we can include the type of the video tag like video mp4 or ogg or any type of the file. And these are the few attributes of the video tag. Like you can mention these attributes inside the opening tag of the video, like autoplay, controls, pixels. Autoplay is nothing but if you like to play your video continuously or as soon as it downloaded, if you like to display it in that manner, you can use autoplay inside the opening tag of video. And controls, as I said earlier, these are used to play and pause the videos. And pixels, this is height tag, height attribute. Height attribute uh, and width attributes are already discussed. And loop and muted. Loop is nothing but every time it finishes it will start again. And muted is nothing but if your video contains some kind of audio, that can be muted using this muted attribute. And similarly, instead of using the source tag, you can use src attribute to include your video file. And these are the few attributes that our video tag contains. Similarly, to place some audio audio and audio kind of files in your website, you can use audio tag. Audio tag works similarly like video tag, and the same attributes apply for audio tag as well. And the next thing is frames. Frames are not most commonly used in nowadays because it's not supported by html5. HTML5 will not support this frames, but the past HTML4 used to support this type of frames. Frames are nothing but dividing a piece of page into parts. Like half of the page might contain one website or some kind of web page, or another half may contain some other web page. Like dividing a single page into multiple pages. That can be done using frame tag. And frame set is the main tag which contains the frame tags. Inside the frame set tag, the frame tags are embedded. So this works. Let's execute each one of these tags and let's see the working of those tags. And let's discuss about entities, and let's practice. Then we'll begin practicing these tags. And entities are nothing but few characters that html supports. Like in html, we there are some um, characters or symbols which have unique meaning, like less than and greater than symbols are used to indicate a tag. So if we place less than or greater than tags in between our content, like if we use those in our paragraph or heading, html, our website or browser may think this as something that is a part of html, and they are treated in a different manner. So uh, like some symbols like copyright symbol, trademark symbols, or euros, dollars, those kind of symbols may not be present in on your keyboards. So all these kind of symbols can be represented using html entities. So let's see few of the html entities. Like non-breaking space. Non-breaking space is nothing but spacing. If you like to insert some space between your words or sentences, then you can use ampersand and bsp. semicolon. And this is the entity name. Numerically, you can represent in this manner. Similarly, we have less than, greater than entity names, and ampersand, quotation mark, and apostrophe. And like as I said, you may not see these kind of symbols on your keyboard. For such kind of symbols, you can use these entity names. These are the few entity names, but there are a lot more entity names. You can search them online. So, do you have any doubts in these topics? I have discussed about iframes, audio tag, video tag, and frame and frame set tags and entity types. And do you have any doubts in this? If you don't have any doubts, let's see some demo and let's end our session in 10 more minutes. So I'd like to open another notepad and let me execute iframe first. So let me give the name of some of these files. Let me give advanced table, advanced underscore table dot html. Let me give this. Let me name it iframe.html. Let's check how it works. See, inside your iframe.html page, you can see advanced table. I think we can maximize this. We have discussed about width and height attributes for iframe, so let's use those. So this is the iframe that is embedded inside iframe.html. Here advanced underscore html is embedded inside iframe.html. This is how an iframe works. Let me show it clearly. See, this is the advanced.html web page that is appeared inside our iframe.html. This is how an iframe works. And we even discussed about styling of an iframe. So let's try as well, like border, um, 1 pixel solid red. Can you see the border of the iframe turned into red? This is how an iframe works. Let's move on to the next one, that is video tag. Let's try it in this same page. Video contains a source tag. If you don't like to use the source tag, you can even use src tag. That is, you can use directly src attribute inside your video attribute. And I already downloaded one of the video, that is movie. This is of type mp4, so I'll give source as movie dot mp4. I'll remove this source tag and let me close the video tag. Let's refresh this page. Can you see? This is the video, but we did not add any kind of controllers, so it's not able to play. So let's add controls. Can you see the difference? Once I included this control attribute, you can see the controls in your video. Like you can play the video. Can you hear that your audio is audible? Can you hear the sounds? And these are the things. These are the controls. You can even zoom in. Like you can pause it. These all controls will be added once you include your control attribute in your video tag. And let's try muted attribute. Let's refresh this and check. Since we have used muted, it's not giving any kind of sounds. Let me add muted as well as controls. Let's see. So you can play the video, but it is muted. You can turn it on here. So these are the few attributes that are included in your video tag. Like you can play it continuously. If you want to play this video continuously, you can use loop. Once it finishes, it will restart again. So this is how a loop attribute works for your video tag. Can you observe? Can you notice the difference? It's started replaying it once 12 seconds are done. So video tag is also done. Let's check for audio tag. Audio tag and video tag mostly have the same syntax, but the only difference is audio and video. That's it. All the attributes are same, and the tags inside them are also same. So I would like to use HOTS. HOTS is of type OGB file. I don't know what OGB file is. It maybe it's type of some of the file types like MP4. If any one of you know what OGB, you can share that with all of us. I have saved this. So let's refresh this page, and here you can see. Can you able to hear? You can include any kind of sounds in this in your web pages. These are the things you can include to make your website more attractive or impressive. And then let's see how frame tag works. Let me include a body tag, or rather typing this. I'll show you. I have already implemented it. Let me show that as we are running out of time. So yeah, since I did not include any references to it, it appeared like that. Let me include some sources over here. Like let me include example.html and image.html and what else? Table.html. Let me save this and see how it works. Can you see that this entire page is divided into three parts? showing three different web pages. So if you like to show two different web pages in a single web page, you can use this. If you have any doubt that what's the difference between a frame and iframe, there is not much difference between this. Frame is the tag that does not work in our HTML5. So to use frame type of tag, iframe has came into use. So this is the only difference between frame and iframe. So I think frame is clear. So you can even make this as column wise. In order to make this as column wise, just change the attribute in your frame set to calls. So let me save it and check it. Can you see? Rather appearing in a row wise, it appeared in the column wise. This is how a frame tag works. And the final thing is our iframe. iframe is done, video is done, audio done, frame done. What else we are left with? We are left with we are left with entities. So let me begin with NBSP, non-breaking space. So since there is no spacing between these two, I'd like to add some spacing. Let me refresh this. Can you see a little space appeared in between this table and this video? To add spacing in between your uh, content in your page, you can use non-breaking spaces. If you want more space, you can add as many as you require. So this is how NBSP works. And then we have copyright symbols, right? So let me use it here. Inside the body. For copy tag, what we are supposed to use, like at the rate copy. So let's check that. At the rate copy and semicolon. Let me close. Let me add some uh, text to it. Let's check. Yeah, it appeared over here. Let's move to the next line. As you know that BR is used to move that thing into the next line. So can you see this copyright symbol over here? In order to use this kind of symbols, you need to follow this kind of entity names. Hope this is clear. I have covered iframe. In today's session, I have covered iframe lists and audio tag, video tag, and frames, and different attributes that an audio tag, video tag uh, exhibits. Finally, I have discussed about the entities of HTML. These are the things that we have discussed in today's session. Um, if you have no, if you don't have any doubts, let's end the session now. I think no more doubts. So can I stop sharing? Okay. Bye bye. Good night. Let's end the session.